You're looking for a guitar that's not just a shiny box of specs, but something that will feel steady under your fingers, sound good in a living room jam session and hold up when you plug it into a PA for a small gig. The decision feels a lot like buying a reliable car. You want it to start every time, you don't want to spend a fortune on features you'll never use, and you definitely don't want to end up with a headache because the electronics crackle or the neck drifts out of shape after a few months. That tension is exactly what most of us feel when we start scrolling through the endless rows of Acoustic-electrics on Amazon. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Taylor 210 CE Plus lands in that sweet spot where a reputable brand meets a mid-range price, promising the kind of consistency that seasoned players rely on. What makes the decision tricky is that the market is crowded with guitars that tout solid spruce or cutaway in big letters, yet the real test is how those claims translate into daily life, how the wood behaves after a season of rehearsals, whether the pickup stays quiet when you're just strumming at home, and if the neck stays comfortable after an hour of chord changes. First, let's talk about the wood. Taylor's Torrefied spruce top is essentially spruce that's been gently baked to reduce the moisture content, a process that aims to mimic the aging you'd get after years of playing. In practice, that means the top feels a little less bright straight out of the case and more settled, which can help reduce the initial harshness you sometimes hear when you first pluck a brand new instrument. For a singer-songwriter who records at home, that translates into a smoother tone that needs less EQ tweaking when you move from acoustic-only tracks to a plug-it-in mix. The back and sides are layered rosewood, a step down from solid rosewood but still offering the rich overtones that give acoustic guitars their warmth. In a real-world setting, you'll notice that the instrument retains a warm low-mid response when you play fingerstyle, while still delivering enough sparkle on open chords to cut through a small band. The layered construction also helps keep the weight manageable. The guitar feels solid but not cumbersome, which is a plus if you're hopping between a coffee shop stage and a living room practice space. The neck is mahogany with an ebony fingerboard, a combo that many players describe as smooth but snappy. Ebony is dense, so the fingerboard stays stable even when humidity shifts, and it provides a nice, bright attack for each note. I've heard guitarists talk about how a mahogany neck can feel a bit softer under the hand, which some prefer for long sessions. On the 210 CE+, the neck profile is slim enough to accommodate both smaller hands and players who like to stretch into more complex chord shapes without feeling cramped. Now, the electric part. Taylor equips its CE models with a proprietary pickup and preamp system that's designed to be low profile and fairly transparent. While the exact specs aren't listed here, owners generally note that the sound stays true to the acoustic tone rather than sounding tinny or overly processed. In a live setting, that means you can plug the guitar into a small PA and the audience will hear a sound that matches what you hear in the room, without needing a full-blown soundboard. For a home recording setup, the preamp's built-in tuner, if present, can be handy, but if you rely on external tuning apps, the lack of a built-in metronome isn't a deal-breaker, it's just something to be aware of. So, who should consider the Taylor 210 CE+? If you're an intermediate player who already knows how to get a decent tone out of a standard acoustic and you're ready to add a reliable pickup system for gigs or recording, this guitar gives you a respectable blend of quality tone wood and dependable electronics without pushing you into the high-end price tier. It also suits the occasional performer who needs an instrument that will stay in tune through a set and won't feel like a bulk of wood on stage. The natural finish adds a classic look that doesn't scream new guitar, which can be a subtle psychological boost when you're playing to an audience. On the flip side, you might want to skip this model if you're a complete